Come, it's time that we have a sit-down discussion about the new metagame. Oh my god! The 30% of you that have not smashed the living crap out of that subscribe button, smash so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. I had to get that out of my system because I love the fact that I continue to have these same people that keep coming through my comment section. Imgo40 said that Despia wasn't the second best deck in the room. What a terrible player he is. He is one of the worst players that I have ever seen in the game. Well, here's the thing. I hate to tell you this right now, but a 3v3 Team YCS, a little bit different of an event. All right, we talked about this, that the results of this were going to be very interesting. Now, we've had a good, solid weekend here. I've been sifting through a lot of regional data. Regional data doesn't matter, Robbie. It's all about the one YCS. Sorry to tell you that, but I disagree wholeheartedly. One of the things I like looking at on this channel is the fact that we can use regional data, because I don't, to be honest with you, a lot of you aren't going to be able to play at the higher tier. A lot of you aren't going to get a YCS. A lot of you aren't going to travel. I guarantee you, most competitive players, if they're even watching this channel, are just watching for the for the regional data that they haven't seen elsewhere. Okay, that's pretty upfront and honest with you here. So what are we looking at here? Well, here's the thing. Regional data, I think, is going to be a little bit more telling of some events, but we will acknowledge things like last format where you had Flunderies that was only an exception at the YCS level, and it just sucked at the regional level. Like, Flunder would not perform at all because, guess what? If a rogue deck needs to do good against other meta decks, YCS is going to be the best place for it to happen, because players can be playing the best deck. But at a regional, you're not going to always have that. All right, and that's where you'll see exceptions to these rules. Robbie, you still said stop it. All right, stop it right now. All right, I acknowledge that Despia is in the top category of everything, but we also understand that Kashtira is the best deck, right? Well, here's the thing. All right, I'm going to question mark this, because what we're seeing at the top end of the format is a lot of equilibrium right now. You have a lot of decks that are turning over and smashing Kashtira. I also genuinely saw what I thought was going to happen this format, where Sprite would need some time to kind of wake up, starts doing its thing. And I actually saw a lot of regional success out here with Sprite, and guess what? A lot of them were not playing, you guessed it, the Evil Twin package that you saw at the YCS. All right, now there's more abnormalities. You want to talk about those? Dark World is running around in a format where Macrocosmo is literally in the best deck in the room as an easy access point. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Who cares? All right, you are seeing abnormalities across the board here. All right, the fact that players are rolling Dark World into this format right now, like they just don't care, yeah, that's hilarious to me. What's that? You got to win the dice roll? I mean, you can say that about a lot of the previous formats, where if you won the dice roll, you were in a pretty good position. Well, the difference right now is, you know, if you open up the dice roll and you reveal the giant space rock in the sky, and, you know, you crush the opposition, which is Kashtira, you're probably going to win the game. Like, do I need to say that about anybody else? No? You understand what's going on here? Okay, so general gist of things. Kashtira, highest representation, probably makes it the best deck. When we do the whole deck breakdown for the next month here, I'll address that more. Oh, wait. Traptrix? Traptrix. Ah, yes. Pack just smashed 4 Kashtira players and a Sprite deck with 3 structure decks. All right, well, the first thing I've read from people is, well, Pack is just built differently. Well, I mean, yeah, Pack is a very good player. Like, I'm sorry to tell you guys that, but, you know, if you're trying to replicate the same level of success, you know, understanding the combo lines that go through their head, you're probably not going to have it down to the T. But budget players, you have a budget deck that you can pick up right now, tested by Pack, and it works. So if you're like, oh, I don't understand how this works, well, watch his video, listen to the combo lines for that. All right, I do want to point that out. Like, the biggest thing about this format right now is people are massively discouraged by the zone locking. All right, and it's It's the exact opposite of last format where, if you cleaned up a tier field, they would just remake it. And that's why, like, I don't understand why people are upset. Diversity makes Yu-Gi-Oh! Players scared, and I don't get it. People would rather have one deck formats instead of 5 to 6, 7 different choices. And in my personal Yu-Gi-Oh! Experience, seeing these 5, 6, 7 different formats make the players a lot happier. I love seeing a locals go from 6 to 10 people a week back to 20 plus, because diversity means that they can play their decks. Sorry to the competitive players, but I can tell you, sitting over here, reading regional data, reading, all these other things, sitting with the players that make up the populations for these LGSs, I understand why they want more diverse formats. So there's that. So Dark World's rolling in, Trap Tricks is doing its thing, Kashtira is still good, Despia is still up there, Sprite's taking its time to wake up here. We've had Sun Avalon waking up as well right now. We've had Dino FTK out here doing things. Just looking at this regional, I'm very impressed. Like, what do you want me to tell you? You even have, Naturia Runic was, that's kind of like an offbeat, nice choice for the format here. You know what's really good about this format? Just kind of take a little bit of a step back here. Everybody thought that tier was just completely done. Tier is nowhere to be seen. It's literally dead, Robbie. All right, all the hopes and dreams for all the tier players, nah, they're done. Well, here's something kind of interesting on that thought. Tier just had a couple of tops at regionals this past weekend, where we saw a pure variant, and then we saw 2 cash tier elements decks actually show up as well. Does that mean that it's a couple of off? No. I do think that, once again, it's taking players time to figure things out. When you smash through a week 1 event, everybody's going to flock to the more generic builds. To the biggest innovations, out of week 1, you had people playing Salesman and Crossout Designator out here, and those people got pretty far because they took the weaknesses of Kashtira and they found ways to kind of round them out. But Kashtira still has problems. This is my favorite part. You set up this big, huge board with Kashtira. You're like, oh my gosh, we're good. And then Mind Control or Change of Heart comes down, and then your opponent just looks at you and goes, you ready to get Zeused? You ready for that? You have, I know that the saying draw the out comes to play here, but you play these cards to out these decks. All right, it's not the satirical haha draw the out. It's the, you have these cards in your deck. You have these cards to make these matchups easier. Stop being a crabhead and just actually play them. All right, I understand there's also the mentality of, well, I don't want to play these. They don't do anything for my deck, which is completely ignorant, by the way. Purist Yu-Gi-Oh! Players, that's an entirely different topic for a different day. I don't want to put in Change of Heart into my Sprite strategy because it hurts my deck. It's I would prefer to win in certain matchups, but you know what? It's okay. And there's also the people that want to have fun with their opponent, but that's a story for another day as well. That's a lot of what we've been seeing right now. A lot of this format isn't going the way that people thought they were. Kashtira players are literally being the laughing stocks of the community, but they're still able to win. That's a big thing here. Since there's so much going on here, a lot of players just don't really know how to side deck, and I think you're going to continue to see a lot of these things bouncing back and forth. That's why you saw Virtual World Side and Judgment of the Pharaoh just show up and just take down a whole regional in the second place. You can't tell me that was an offshoot abnormality. That's hilarious, by the way. You know how many people read Judgment of the Pharaoh that regional, did a double take, and went, why is this card legal? And they didn't understand how full combo for that deck actually works. So that's some really big things to consider there at the end of the day as well. Oh, I should probably mention Sword Soul, Plunder Patrol, I guess Sky Striker. Sword Soul's doing good. Sword Soul is very consistent right now at the regional level. That's good. Flounder's doing all right too. Plunder Patrol's doing okay. Haven't seen a lot of top 8s, but I've seen some case tournament results, which is good. And even Sky Striker's got a top 8 right now. So tier 2, or excuse me, your rogue category, doing pretty good. It's actually fighting back against the format. That's what you want to see right now. So I think the format's very diverse. I think a lot of people are crapping their pants for really no real reason right now. Bring back tier format, they say. I don't like this diversity. Let people play the game. Card prices are looking a lot better right now too, now that more people have more options to pick up. So Doesn't stop Sword Soul prices from going up through the roof, though. So, what do you guys think? Please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. See your beautiful faces back at later today, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.